Hello, 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 everybody. It is Stevie Aisha Mills back for another conversation with Stevie. Excited to have this gentleman here with us today. He is going to tell you about some exciting and upcoming events that are all about pursuing a cause and helping a cause that is near and dear to his heart. And so we will talk about that on the conversation today. But what I want to do is to read his background. Jeff is a successful software sales executive and business owner with over 20 years' experience in making deals happen and building lasting relationships. He and his wife, Renee, co-founded Cure AHC in 2013, and Jeff has been its president from the start. Jeff and Renee organize and participate in numerous fundraisers from local to international to raise funds for AHC research and awareness. Their inspiration is their 10-year-old son, Matthew, who has AHC. Jeff has a BA psychology from the University of Chicago. He is pursuing a Master's of Divinity degree at Asbury Theological Seminary with plans to graduate in 2018 to eventually pursue private practice as a pastoral counselor. Jeff enjoys gardening, reading, playing video games, and quality time with his family. He is also a lifelong Chicago sports fan, with his all-time favorite team being the 2016 World Series champion, the Chicago Cubs. All right. That is a well-rounded bio. So, Jeff, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you for having me, Stevie.
You're so welcome. I want to begin really by uncovering what the AHC is, because a lot of people may not have ever heard of that, and then also have you talk some more about your great work.
Certainly. So AHC stands for alternating-hemiplegia of childhood, which is a mouthful, which is why we usually call it AHC. So what this is an ultra-rare neurological disease that affects, as you mentioned, my son Matthew. And it causes these bouts of temporary paralysis that will alternate from one side of the body to the other, or sometimes engulf the entire body. And these bouts of paralysis can be painful, and they can last anywhere from minutes to even days at a time. Now, accompanying that are movement problems like cerebral palsy, learning disabilities like autism, behavioral problems like ADHD, and in about 50% of cases, my son's one of them, epilepsy. So you put all those symptoms and complexities together, and that is Matthew's world, and that is alternating hemiplegia of childhood. Now, the good news is that researchers right here at Duke University found the genetic root cause of this disease in 2012. And that really inspired my wife and I to start this nonprofit, Cure AHC, with the idea of raising funds to facilitate research at Duke and the international consortium of researchers they helped to put together. We also wanted to help to find ways to treat this disease more effectively, because currently there are no effective treatments. There's no cure for the disease. But we wanted to help improve quality of life. So one of the first things we did was to actually start a multi-specialty clinic at Duke so that kids and adults from all around the world come to Duke and see a number of different specialists, and they put together a customized treatment plan and also start to understand the disease in more detail so that they can potentially discover the cure.
That's awesome. I think that thank you for giving us that explanation, because I know until very recently I hadn't heard of it, and I think that it's just profound the work that you and your wife are doing, because sometimes people won't take what they have been given, such as a child who is going through this process of this disease, and take that and do something to help it. You know, a lot of people wouldn't have been able to have the strength and the courage to make that happen. And so how did you come to that decision to actually say, we are Like, what was the process of that? How long did it take for you to say, we're not going to do this cripple? Go ahead.
Right. Well, it was it was a process. I mean, as Matthew was diagnosed, we did get in. He was diagnosed in 2008. He was born in 2007. We had all these complications. We went through all this struggle. When we got to a diagnosis, we started getting active in advocacy. But it was really the catalyst of this genetic root cause discovery that gave us a lot of hope for the potential in the future. And as we got more and more interested in that, it just made it clear that starting a nonprofit was going to make a difference for his life or for the lives of others. And it was also getting the opportunity to meet some other families with children and adults with the same disease, and understanding that it wasn't quite as hopeless as the lack of information out there had been originally depicted. I mean, when Matthew was diagnosed, there's very little about this disease. It's an ultra rare disease, originally thought to be only in a 1 in a million in incidence. Now that the gene discovery has happened, we're thinking researchers believe that it's going to be more like 1 in 250,000, which is still ultra rare, but we know there are thousands of undiagnosed cases out there. So it just weighed heavy on our hearts, and my wife and I prayed about it and figured that we needed to do something to go find those undiagnosed cases and to improve quality of life as we were gunning for this cure. And the more and more we got interested in it, it just made sense to start this nonprofit and have this partnership with Duke and the other researchers. And we've expanded that to encompass international. I mean, we have actually board members from all around the world. We have a board member who's in Chile, one in India, and one in London. So this thing has grown and gained a lot of momentum, and we're having a lot of success in the process.
That's absolutely incredible. I would like to transition a little bit. I know that you do have some events coming up. If you would please tell us about those events.
Certainly. This Friday at the Lockmere Golf Course in Cary, North Carolina, we will be having a golf tournament. This will be a scramble format, so the best ball out of the four is your team scored. There are opportunities to win lots of prizes on there, including the best scorer will have a week's accommodations at a 5-star eco resort in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And there's an opportunity for someone on a particular hole, if they hit a hole in one, to win $5,000 and to also get an equal $5,000 donated to Cure AHC in the process. So you have the opportunity to really do something big there. There'll be a silent auction and a dinner that evening in conjunction with that as well. So the registration starts at 11. There's a lunch. The actual golf tournament kicks off at 1 p.m. And I think it'll be a great opportunity for people to come out and enjoy a wonderful day of golfing. We also have coming up in October 21st, we call it the first annual, but it's a reincarnation of something we've done previously. It's our Womanless Beauty Pageant, where, yes, indeed, we will have men who will dress as women to raise funds to help bring about funding for research, and we will have details about that on our website coming up. I believe that is on October the 21st from 4 to 8 p.m. And unfortunately, the location information on that is not right in front of me, so I do apologize that I'm on details. But our website, cureahc.org, will have those full details for you on the particular event.
Let's talk about the golf tournament, and then, of course, we're going to end up talking about the beauty pageant, because those are two innovative things. It's really absolutely incredible that the golf tournament, you said some, phenomenal prizes. And I've done the research. Thank you. One of the things I have to say is that I had the blessing of doing some things as far as public relations for these projects. And so I am excited and very thankful for that. And one of the things that I did was to research the resort. And that resort, y'all, is so phenomenal. We have not been able to do it justice just by talking. You definitely want to go to check out what it is that they've offered you because it's beautiful. And the fact that a $5,000 hole-in-one that will benefit not only yourself, but the organization, that is, amazing. That is amazing. And so how did you come up with those prizes? These are, beyond Cinderella prizes. These are life-altering prizes, both of them.
Well, we do have to give a big shout-out and kudos to one of our board members, Haley Gray, who is the driving force behind organizing these two events. She's done a phenomenal job at jumping right in. She joined our board of directors under a year ago, but she just had a heart. She had an opportunity to understand Matthew's story and meet Matthew, and it touched her heart to where she was just willing to jump in and really start making things happen. So she's organized these two events and has just done a phenomenal job as far as finding locations and getting volunteers and getting the donations and recruiting attendees all across the board to make these. Both of these events are going to be super awesome events that'll be good fundraising revenue generators for us, and that's something that we're going to keep that going. But she really deserves the credit for finding these locations and bringing the things together.
Shout out to Haley. We enjoy Haley. She is a phenomenal woman. She definitely is. And the Womanless Beauty Pageant, wow. I can just see already how amazing that will be and how fun that will be. And I think that the one thing that I appreciate about your organization is that you don't just stick to the norm. You go to things that are beyond the box. There is no box. And so just having that done, because a lot of times organizations just want to do the same old same, but that is not how you get eyes upon your organization. And so shouts out to that. And I think that's a great event for the fall. It's definitely going to be fun. It's definitely going to be amazing. And we are just excited about seeing the process of it and allowing more people to know about what it is that you're doing. And so how can we connect? What is the website one more time?
Sure. The website is www.cureahc.org. That's CUREAHC.org. If you go up just to events, you'll get a nice calendar listing of the different events. So again, the golf tournament is this Friday. Registration starts at 11. Lunch will be around noon. The shotgun start is at 1 p.m. And then dinner will be around 6 p.m. With a silent auction.
Awesome.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, the Womanless Beauty Pageant is actually October 21st, running from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And that is at the Thomas G. Crowder Woodland Center, which is 5611 Jaguar Drive in Raleigh. That is off of Lake Johnson.
Perfect.
And again, that will also feature a silent auction, but of course there'll be food and prizes and all sorts of fun happening at that event as well.
I love the party with a purpose. I just think it's so much fun. And
yes, yours truly will be one of the contestants. As I said, this is kind of a revitalization of this. We have done this event when we first started the organization tied to the annual Rollsville Barbecue Festival, but we decided it really needed to be its own freestanding event after it being away for a while. So it's funny, my son in casuals, when he meets new people, sometimes will just blurt out, "Daddy dressed as a woman." And of course, that's a perfect conversation breaker because the looks on people's faces, are just priceless. And then I get the opportunity to explain why I dressed as a woman, and then once the initial shock wears off of them, exactly. Once the shock wears off of them, they usually get a good laugh, and a lot of times we actually get somebody to give a donation during that time. So my son, even in his rare disease, is a great advocate for himself.
Wow. I love it. And I was going to ask, that was one of the questions I was going to ask, so I'm glad that you went ahead and said it. So when people are not, can't come, say, for example, somebody wants to come, but they're like, dang, I can't get off, or I can't make it, or whatever have you, how can they also contribute to the cause?
Right there on the website, there's a big yellow donate button right in the upper right-hand corner of the page, and basically any and all pages should have that crawling across the top. So you should be able to easily click on that and make a donation. Or you can actually write out checks to Cure AHC, and our address is 8480 Honeycutt Road, Suite 200 in Raleigh, zip code 27615.
All right, give that address one more time, because you know how people sometimes go in to run for the pen, and then they
exactly.
What is the address?
So again, it's Cure AHC that you would make the checks out to, and the address is 8480 Honeycutt, HONEYCUTT Road, Suite 200, and of course Raleigh, North Carolina, 27615.
Awesome, blossom. And so as we begin to really just wind up our time, I've had fun, and I've learned a lot today. Let's talk about whatever it is that you're like, Stevie, we cannot leave this time today without uncovering these things. I always ask my guests that because we may not have uncovered it already. Do you have anything like that?
Well, I want to let you know that the funds that you'll be donating are put to very good use. We actually have a number of different research projects underway. Researchers are actually very optimistic in the next 5 to 10 years they're going to make a big difference for this disease. So knowing that putting that it'll have some immediate benefit impact. We also use it to help support the families to come to the clinic. And again, the customized treatment plans that are created at that clinic help to dramatically improve quality of life for our kids. It's not an effective treatment. It's not a cure-all, but certainly we are able to treat these symptoms more effectively than we ever have before, particularly even to customize those plans for individuals, because a lot of times they'll have other complications on board as well. For example, my son's a type 1 diabetic, which he seems to be about the only one with this rare disease and type 1 diabetes, which makes for quite a complex management of his particular care. But know that your donations will be making a direct, immediate impact. We're an entirely volunteer-run organization, so we don't have any paid staff right now, which needs to change as we grow the organization, but right now that is run so that every our operational budgets are very small. To know that you're going to be making some very immediate impact directly to research that could make a huge difference for this disease.
Wow. And one of the things that came, actually 2 more questions, then we'll let you go.
Sure.
We know you're getting ready for this. But one question was, how can somebody, are there signs, or is it hereditary, or what happens? How do people know that their child has this?
Well, no, it's really, I mean, and that's one of the challenges that we've always had in diagnosing this. This mutation was actually spontaneous. I mean, it wasn't something that he inherited from my wife or myself. It was just something that spontaneously happened as he was developing, in the womb pre-birth. So, of course, if he were to have, to marry and father children, the children would have a, 50% chance of having the disease, because he would pass on potentially the genetic defect. But as far as for the vast majority of cases out there, it happens spontaneously. So we don't know why it happens spontaneously, but it does. So as far as trying to figure it out, well, if you have those certain set of symptoms like I described of having these bouts of paralysis that alternate from one side of the body to another, then that would be a good indication that it would be wise to have genetic screening done for this particular mutation, ATP1A3 gene. There are actually a number of mutations in that gene that cause this disease, but if they would screen for a mutation in that particular gene, they would then find it and come to that diagnosis directly.
Thank you. And I actually have two more questions. I'm sorry.
That's fine. No, keep them coming. I
love it. Thank you. My other question was the lifetime expectancy, because I know that it has varied, but is there a general age that they expect? Of course, we know God is a healer and going to do everything according to his will, but right. What is the research on that?
Well, this has only been a diagnosis since the mid-70s, early 70s. We do have adults in their 50s that were diagnosed back then that are still alive. Generally speaking, it does not directly impact life expectancy to the best of our scientific knowledge. However, sometimes life can be cut short, even significantly short, from complications from the disease, mainly from seizures. In fact, we almost lost Matthew when he was 20 months old due to a grand mal seizure. We were just blessed that he happened to already be in the hospital before that seizure happened. We've had others that also, because it can cause shallowness of breath, they can get into respiratory distress. This particular gene is also expressed in the heart, so it can create heart problems into adulthood that have created problems. So we have had champions, as we call them. We call our children and adults with AHC champions, because they overcome this disease in so many wonderful ways every single day. But some of them have wound up passing because of this disease. So that, in my mind, is another big motivating factor of why we just couldn't sit and not do anything, because every child and an adult with AHC breaks my heart just about as much as my son. So while my son was the original inspiration, we do it not just for him, but for everyone all around the world who is suffering from this disease and for their families.
Yes. And we definitely here at the Conversation with Stevie and all of our listeners who have learned about this and have heard about this today definitely will be praying, because, like I said, science is one thing, and all of the things that we know about that, we know that someone somewhere is working on something to have this, and we pray that it's going to be sooner than later so that this can be eradicated as much as it can. And we also know that such work as what you're doing, we pray, that you get the donors and you get the volunteers, and we pray that God just sends you and your wife and your family and everyone involved just outpouring, because we know that he can do it and he shall do it. And so with that, I am just very thankful for your time today. I'm thankful again for you hiring my PR company, Serious Statement. I'm thankful that you're here on the conversation with Stevie. That is nothing but the move in the hand of God. And so I, again, want to give you the opportunity to give your contact information so that people can hear it and so that they can connect.
Certainly. So our website, again, is www.cureahc.org. That's CUREAHC.org. Our address is 8480 Honeycutt Road, Suite 200, Raleigh, North Carolina, 27615. Our telephone number is 919-488-4217, or you can email info@cureahc.org.
Perfect. And so thank you again, Jeff, everybody. It has been the conversation with Stevie where we learned something today. We also learned how we could sow a seed in some great ground. So whether you can be there on Friday or October 21st in person, then that is, you go to cureahc.org and you can be there. But you can't, guess what? If you live out of state, you live out of country, you just found out about it and you're not able to be there this time, sow a seed. You could do that same thing. And what I believe for sure is that if you sow a seed in great ground like this one, you will indeed get a mighty harvest. So my name, again, is Stevie Aisha Mills. If you want to connect with me, just remember how to spell my first name, Stevii, and you'll find me all over social media. You'll find me at Stevie.com, and, of course, you'll find me every time we're here at the conversation with Stevie. I always say make it a great day. I never say have a great day. I always say make it a great day. Why? Because you, and you too have the power to do so. Bye for now.
Thank you.